a new home for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel so alive.
Finally, the EX90 are coming. In just a couple of months, the first customers will take delivery of the all-new EX90. It's been a long wait. It's actually almost 18 months since Volvo released the EX90. But now, production has started in South Carolina. Just a couple of weeks ago, the production started with customer cars. The production has been running a couple of months to get everything up and going, but now customer cars are in production. And it's going to touch down in Norway late November, early December. In this video here, I want to take you on a little tour. Because a couple of weeks ago, I attended an event called Behind the Scene at Volvo Cars. So we traveled down here to Gothenburg. We visited the wind tunnel, the battery lab, the safety center, and also at this location, World of Volvo. I was actually planning to make a video at that time with the EX90, but it got relocated. So that's why I have to make it now. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Volvo Christian, and welcome to the EX90. As I said, I'm here at World of Volvo. This is their new museum, but it's not actually a museum per se, at least not the way it was. We have like 25 to 30 cars scattered around. There's a museum part, and there's also a couple of cars and trucks on display. But a couple of weeks ago, when we were here at the behind the scene event, they actually gave us an exception from the rule to not touch the museum cars. So we actually got to take a seat in most of the cars. And I kid you not, I was actually so lucky to be taking a seat in Volvo's ÖV4. Jacob, I can overlay a video clip of that now. That was a completely goose hair moment when I got to sit in Volvo's very first car from 1927. Over 100 years. And now, 100 years later, they actually opened this World of Volvo at the 14th of April 2024. So like their 97 years birthday. And this is an event center with conference halls. And actually, just behind there, they have this overseas delivery. They deliver out cars here to their US customers. And they can drive it around Sweden and Europe for a couple of months, and then they ship it over to USA. They have restaurants and a lot of areas to kids can play, and this is an event center. And yesterday when I visited here, it was just packed with people. I've never seen so many people at the Volvo Museum. So yeah, I have to give huge congrats to Volvo with this World of Volvo. But as I said, I'm going to take you on a recap of my behind the scene event that I attended a couple of weeks ago. Hope you will enjoy this video. So, the reason why I wanted to make this video from my behind the scene event was that it was so much EX90 goodies on all the different areas we visited at Volvo Cars in Torslanda. There was so much EX90 goodies we can extract from all the different sections. So I thought I had to make a video with the EX90 in the background and not just a random car or my own S16. So here's a recap from my behind the scene with Volvo Cars, focusing on the EX90. The first thing we visited was the battery lab. I'm going to overlay pictures and video clips, both my own and content we got from Volvo Cars, like a media kit. So the first thing we visited was the battery lab. We got a little presentation, and we also got to see the battery that's placed in the floor of the EX90. The whole thing, and we also saw the battery from the EC40 and EX40. So the 111 kilowatt with 107 kilowatt hours usable. We got to see that, and as I said, I can overlay a picture of that. And then we walked into these test chambers on this battery lab. They have huge chambers, very many actually, and they can test both on pack level and also on cell level. Each pack and each cell, they can charge it, discharge it, charge it, discharge it over and over again to measure durability and durability, and to see how they cope on this long-term charging and discharging, and also in different environments, because they can manipulate these chambers on different temperature scales. Pretty interesting. I actually didn't think it was going to be so interesting because I'm not so into battery, but it was actually quite exciting to listen to the discussion we had, and also this presenter to talk about how much they do in terms of battery testing. Actually quite interesting. Then we also talked about the charging, because that is one of the things that has been talked about a lot with Volvo's EX90, because this can charge at a peak of 250 kilowatts. It's only 400 volts, so how can you do that? Actually, it's only Tesla chargers that can deliver 250 kilowatt, because then you get like 600 amps or something. And there was another guy that asked about this. How fast can it charge if it doesn't get 250? If it only gets 200, that it will get on most chargers. And then I actually intervened, because we were in a discussion. I said, and I don't think the time difference will be any worse if you don't get 250, because it's all about the curve. If you can stay high, like 200, if you can keep that pretty high, then you don't need that peak. Because with a peak, you get heat in the car. And then you have to cool down. So you get a little peak and then you get a drop. So it's better to have a consistent speed. I'm sorry about the noise maybe in the background. I'm here before opening hours, so they do have to do some cleaning to get it all done. So it was actually quite interesting to visit the battery lab. And then afterwards, yes, before we go on further, the battery lab employees actually confirmed my theory that it's all about the curve and how you stick to it. So the time doesn't have to be shorter, even if you don't get 250. So it would be interesting to test that. But then we visited the wind tunnel. We got a presentation, we got to see a module of the wind tunnel. And the wind tunnel has actually been used both to test Volvo's trucks and also Formula 1 cars from Ford and Jaguar. So a pretty massive tunnel. It can blow up to 250 kilometers per hour. And after we got a presentation of the module, we got to walk inside, and they actually started the wind turbine. So we get up speed up to 70 kilometers per hour while we were standing inside the wind tunnel. And that was pretty darn wicked to stand inside and look at the EX90, because they had an EX90 in sand dune in there. Also, it had the Nordico interior. Actually the first time I'm seeing the Nordico in a full-scale car. But it was crazy much fun to stand inside there while the wind was blowing. I will try to record on my phone and also the camera. So pretty exciting.
I feel so alive. As I reach out to the sky. I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way. 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 I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. Cause I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay. Cause I found my way.
Then we went over to something that's called driving dynamics simulation. This is the start of the development. When they start to develop a car, they start in the simulation, and then they choose what kind of attributes do we want in our car. What do we want it to deliver on? And this is actually a huge part of the development, because after the modules, they can test it in this driving simulator, and they can apply it on physical cars and do more testing, and then they go back to the simulator. So it's like a circle. So actually pretty exciting. I'm actually going to jump inside for the two next parts since the music kicked on. Hopefully it's a lot more quiet in here for my microphone, so it doesn't pick up the speakers here at the wall of Volvo. But then we went over to something that's called Enabling and Exploration Lab. At that location we couldn't record or take any pictures, but I think Volvo included that in the media kit. Some of the information there went just straight above my head. It was kind of complex for my simple head, but they did the best they could to get it in this thick skull. But it was actually also quite interesting to see how they work. First they presented with some kind of 3D glasses so you can see an actual car and go in, like a virtual experience of a car. So actually quite exciting. And then they went over to more physical cars, just half of a car and sections of a driving area. And then they could measure how the driver responds to all notifications and warning and things that are going on in your driving environment. And they can just look at the driver and look at how you respond. And then they also had a section where they're focusing on the sounds the car makes when you're backing up, when you're driving. At what time should the car or the sound disappear? Because there's different legal requirements in different markets on what sound the car has to have at a certain speed. Like when you're backing up, you have to have a sound so that pedestrians and other walkers and bicycles can hear that a car is backing up. And they're also tweaking the Bowers and Wilkins and testing out where they can put speakers. That was actually quite fun. They had speakers several places and they can move it and put them in the dash, put them in the door, put them in the B-pillar, to see where there was the ideal placement for the Bowers and Wilkins speakers, and also the standard speakers. So all in all, quite exciting place. Enhancing sound, yeah, I talked about that. And then lastly, safety presentation. That was actually not maybe as cool as the wind tunnel, because I've been at this brand experience center before where they have this safety presentation. But at this time we could walk inside the crash center. Also at this place we couldn't take any pictures, but we got to see where they crash all the different Volvos. And they crash in average 250 cars every year. So yeah, it's not one per, maybe it's one per weekday. So they crash a lot of cars. Small crashes, big crashes, side impact, and that place are actually quite impressive, because they have a arm so they can just tilt it to where they want it in order to crash in the right place. If they want like a side impact, or if they want like more, yeah. So I'm not sure what the English word for not straight, but yeah, either way. But it's actually quite interesting to see this crash center. And just 2 floors up here, I can overlay a picture or video clip of that as well. They actually have one of the crashed EX90s that is placed now in the museum hall. So actually pretty darn cool, and we had an awesome discussion there. Circle of Life, crash center, yeah. So it was actually quite fun, because they crash test so many elements from the rear, and also with luggage and different settings there. So all in all, this behind the scene at Volvo Cars was actually quite exciting. I'm really thrilled for the EX90 when I saw so many elements. And actually, to finish off this sequence, while I was inside behind the fences at Volvo Cars, I actually managed to see every single EX90 color except one, platinum gray. I wrote down the list so I won't forget any colors. I had it with me here, maybe on the next page. So yes, I saw onyx black, and actually now, a couple of weeks later, I visited Torslanda yesterday and I also saw onyx black on the roads. But I wasn't quick enough to grab my phone up. So onyx black I've seen, denim blue I've seen, platinum grey sadly not. Silver dawn, both at the wall, behind the scene event and also yesterday. I can overlay a picture of that as well. Mulberry red, wow, that was pretty wicked. It's not as sharp as the fusion red and passion red, and also this new color from Tesla. Pretty wicked color. It's not as bright as those. It's more subdued, low key, like a smoked red. Pretty dark. It was standing next to a denim blue. But those two are my definitive favorite, next to platinum gray, but I haven't seen that. And then vapor gray. Also saw a vapor gray yesterday. And then sand dune. That is probably the color I wouldn't go for myself, at least for the EX90. And then crystal white. Crystal white was actually pretty sweet. And while we were having lunch at the behind the scene event at Torslanda, I was sitting and eating my hamburger, and just outside the window there was a XC90 in crystal white and a EX90 in crystal white, side by side. Sadly, we couldn't take any pictures like legally behind the fences, so the pictures are just for my head and for my own enjoyment. So I can't share any of those pictures, but yeah, didn't take any pictures, I promise. So I haven't seen the EX90 in crystal white outside the fences, but I think crystal white also are a winner. So that was it for the behind the scene event, and now I think I will end it outside with the price module for the EX90. So I want to end this video with delivery times and also the price module for the EX90, because I find that actually quite interesting. As I said earlier, at least for Norway and Sweden, the deliveries, the first customer deliveries, will start mid or late November, early December. And it's different from different markets. But sadly, the car isn't completely finished at the first initial customer handovers. They still have some software issues they need to sort out. I made a video yesterday with the 10 things that Volvo are missing and that are delayed with the EX90, then won't come before mid 2025. So that will drop after this video here, probably. But either way, initial handover, or first customer deliveries, November, December in 2024. But the EX90 won't actually replace the current XC90. They're actually going to live side by side a couple of years, and I find that interesting, especially when we look at the price. And why is that? Well, it's not every market that are so EV hungry as Norway. So for our part, I think the EX90 will quickly replace the XC90, and that Volvo Norway will discontinue the XC90. I hope I'm wrong, but I think within a year, the current XC90 will be discontinued in Norway. But it's not every market, as I said, that are so EV hungry. So they're going to live side by side. And that's also why most likely the current XC90 will get a third facelift. I also talked about that in a previous video. And actually earlier today, when I woke up like 5 or 6 this morning, I read an article that Audi are considering to stop the production of the Q8 e-tron and just close the factory, because the demand for high priced EVs are dropping significantly. And this is a high priced, huge SUV. But then again, Audi just released the Q6, and I think the Q6 definitely will steal customers from the Q8 because it's more modern and it had newer tech. So maybe it's their own fault, I'm not sure, but is it a place for the EX90? Well, when we look at the price, I actually find it quite interesting, because if you take the EX90 twin performance in the ultra spec and you add the bar bars, the tow bar, 22-inch alloys, pilot assist, air suspension. In Norway, that is priced at 1,132,000 kroner. So hang on to that, 1132. And that is for fully decked out. You get everything. All the options. And it actually, on the Norwegian configurator, it says delivery times 12 to 18 months. I'm not quite sure. I think it's like 12 months, but they say 12 to 18. Sounds crazy. But and then if we compare it to the XC90, also full spec, we go XC90 Ultra Dark T8, ventilated seats, bar bars, air suspension, 22-inch alloys. We go the full enchilada. That has a delivery time of 3 to 4 months, and the price 1,323,000. So 200,000 more expensive. And tell me, who are going to buy the XC90 in Norway for 200,000 more when you can get the EX90, even if it's electric and maybe it doesn't have the range? Who's going to buy the XC90? What is the key difference? The only thing that drops into my head, towing capacity. EX90 can tow 2,200. XC90 2,700. At least for the diesel, but we don't have that, so it's 2,400 for the plug-in hybrid. So 200 kilo, that's not so much. So why are you going to buy the XC90? That's why I think for Norway, I think we're going to lose the XC90 very soon. Even if it's a wicked car. But then, just to Sweden, here. How is the price here? Well, exactly the same spec. But I have to make a huge but here. Sweden, or Swedish customer, have something we don't. They can get an option of a 6-seat configuration in their EX90. And I saw a 6-seat version yesterday, actually. This bright silver one was a 6-seat configuration. So you have 222. We don't get that in Norway, and Swedish customers can pick and choose from the 6 or 7 seat without additional cost. So those lucky ones. But either way, so it doesn't matter if we go 6 or 7 seats. There's no cost option, but the same spec. Twin, Ultra, 22-inch alloys, air suspension. We go the Nordic interior, full spec, Bowers & Wilkins. And in Sweden, the delivery times 8 to 9 months, and the price 1,212,000. So 100,000 more than in Sweden for the EX90. So 1,212. But then XC90, same kit, full kit with everything, ticked every boxes. The price 1,121,000 for the XC90. So the EX90 are 100,000 more expensive than the XC90. And now, who's going to buy the EX90 in Sweden? You see, the price makes a huge difference in what car you go. Are you going for the XC90 or are you going for the EX90? Norwegian customers will probably go for the EX90 regardless. Sweden, if you are very into EVs and can charge at home, yeah, this would make sense. Other markets, Germany, US, I'm not sure. But it's going to be really interesting to see how the sales figures are for the EX90. I hope it sells in hoots, in a bunch. But for me personally, I'm more stoked for the next E on their lineup. Just change that X for a S, maybe the other way around, so we do it, and I'm not sure. ES90. Or maybe change the 90 for a 60. Then we're talking my language. So that was it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video here from World of Volvo, and I highly recommend to take a visit to Gothenburg, the home of Volvo, and visit their new exhibition hall or event center, World of Volvo. So that was it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and bye bye.